Welcome, Cherries fans, and welcome, Hatters fans, to this very special preview here on Up the Cherries in all departments. Now, before I do a preview show, I normally give some funny lines, normally talk about previous matches, but I feel that it would be disrespectful to do it in this occasion. So, as many people will remember, on the 16th of December 2023, we played Luton Town at home at Dean Court. And then, with the game standing at 1-1, in the 59th minute, football just become irrelevant. And the medical teams that saved Tom Lockyer's life, Philip Billen, the fan bases from both sides, the players from both sides, was incredible and instrumental in one of the scariest moments, the darkest moments that everybody who was there will remember. Luckily, Tom is on a road to a full recovery, and it is going to be a pleasure to welcome back onto the show Mark Crowther, who does cycle to every single game. But we are going to cover off in quite some detail what happened that day. And of course, we do ask everybody, if you're able to afford it, to donate to the British Heart Foundation. The link is in the description of this video below. So let's start with the preview. And it is a pleasure to welcome back on Mark Crowther. Welcome back on the show, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yep, very, very well, thank you. And of course, we don't normally have two previews for exactly the same match,
Mm.
but unfortunately, in this occasion, as much as it's lovely to speak to yourself, we do. And of course, the situation um, on the 59th minute of the game back in December at Dean Court, when Tom Lockyer fell to the ground, was one of the moments that will just stick with myself. And I know everybody connected with Luton Town. We've been speaking off air about this as well.
Mm.
But Mark, of course, you know what he was at Wembley. You know what happened that day as well.
Yeah,
Um, do tell us your thoughts if you're happy to do so, mate.
yeah. I mean, I was there as well, and it's a day that I'll never forget. And just the silence and just the worry about what was happening to Tom. And yes, we knew what had happened at Wembley, but they were totally not. They're totally different circumstances,
Yeah,
and it was just the most horrific experience. I mean, I've been going to football 40 years. You think you've seen everything, and then at this moment, football doesn't matter. Football's not important. And if you think how we're feeling, imagine how Tom's family felt being at the game. It's and Tom's like the heartbeat, the soul of our club, and Tom epitomizes everything. The way he played and the way just the what just the person he is epitomizes everything about our football club. Where, as we've talked before, our football club is just like everything. We're all together in terms of the community, the football club. We all come together, and yeah, it was just a horrible thing to witness. And I honestly couldn't. Like the coach home was just like complete silence, and every time it came up on TV, I just burst into tears. And we just wanted to know that Tom was okay, and football really didn't matter. It was just knowing that Tom was okay, and yeah, it was just it's very difficult to really put into words. I mean, I've met Tom on several occasions through my fundraising, and you couldn't wish to meet a more humble,
Yeah.
genuine, uh, genuine, decent bloke, and yeah, and it's this Wednesday is just going to be incredibly emotional.
Yeah, completely agree. And I remember that moment because you could hear a pin drop in that ground. You could hear a pin drop. Um, as soon as I realised who it was, and it just put the shivers, through me back. I've got to be honest. But there was some fantastic reactions from the medical team, um, and I've got to give a lot of credit to Philip Billing as well,
Absolutely, yeah,
because Philip Billing is I've met Philip on a number of occasions, and he's a very quiet, very nice gentleman. But he's not one of those people that oozes confidence. However, what he did that day, could well have saved Tom's life.
definitely. I mean, everyone was so quick, and as Thomas said in numerous interviews, everybody that was on the scene so quick knew exactly what to do, and definitely the actions of everybody. And Philip Billing was the nearest to Tom when it happened. He knew what to do, and in Tom's words, he says everyone went into like action mode, and everyone knew what to do, and their quick actions have saved his life. So yeah, I mean, to know what to do in those moments, they're just all heroes, and yeah, we're indebted to them.
How is Tom's recovery going? Because of course you've met Tom on a number of occasions. Hopefully he's going from strength to strength.
Yes, he's had and I don't want to get any facts wrong and say
That's
anything wrong,
fine.
but no, Tom's recovering well. He's been at the game a number of times. I mean, he came to the Brighton game and came out, and that was just incredibly emotional for him to sort of see the response from everyone, even the Brighton fans. I mean, other fans have been fine. I mean, Newcastle held up a sign. Everyone holds up a sign, just wanting him to get better. But yeah, no, Tom's recovering well. He's yeah, he's. I think it's too early to say what the future holds, but he's basically had like a defibrillator fitted inside him, so he's basically in a good place at the moment, spending time with his partner and family. Just had a baby, so yeah, he's in a good place at the moment.
Excellent stuff. Massive congratulations to Tom on the birth of his baby. Very recently. Was it last week? Was it?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Lovely story. In after what has been a very, very scary time for Luton fans. Um, before because I don't feel it's right to discuss what happened, on the pitch prior
mm,
to that happening at this moment in time. But of course, you have been fundraising for a lot of charities,
yeah.
Mark, and you've raised outstanding amount of money. Do tell us about that. But also, you are going to be cycling for this game as well on a special occasion as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I've shared with you before, but I mean, but basically, when COVID hit, I really struggled with my mental health. I was suffering from depression, the whole lockdown, and everything was a struggle, even leaving the house. And I just wanted to sort of feel like do something, as in just sort of focus on people that needed the help. And that sort of helped with I went through counselling, and yeah, it was probably like my darkest time. And I know a lot of people probably been through a lot worse, but I almost just wanted to be able to sort of give me something to focus on and try and do something for others. So 21, 22, I cycled to every away game, not really thinking that it would create much interest, but I felt like I'd be doing something. And
Yeah.
mental health was one of the charities, and a local hospice, and also prostate. I'm of that age where I'm at risk from
Mhm.
prostate. So I started by doing that, thinking it wouldn't really get that much interest, and the response was staggering. I mean, uh, I'm not a confident person, but yeah, it was just like incredible the response I got. I then thought, so what can I do next? And I then cycled to every ground in the country. So that was Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. I just chucked in National League as well. So yeah, I did that, and that raised even more, like incredibly amount of more money. And then I was done with that. Was me finished with my fundraising, and we got promotion to the Premier League. And then Jordan Clark, one of our players, said, "Oh, you've got to do it. It's the Premier League." It's like you just scored the goal in the playoff final. How am I going to? I can't say no to you. And so I said, "Okay, Jordan, yes, I'll do it." And he did say to me, "Oh, what have I done to you?" But no. So then the Premier League was. This is my last challenge. So from just wanting to help people and just trying to help my own mental health, I've raised probably just over £33,000 in the last 2.5 years, which is it's staggering, but it's also as much the generosity and the kindness of everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, I cycle crazy distances, but without everyone's generosity and their support, it wouldn't be possible, and the charities wouldn't have benefited. So yeah, so that's just did Crystal Palace on Saturday. 20 miles cycling through London.
Excellent. Excellent.
And so yeah, and obviously with what happened to Tom,
Mhm.
uh, I cycled to the game in December. You think I should know the route by now? I mean, it
Yeah.
was tiring doing it over 2 days in December, but on Wednesday I'm doing it all in one go, Luton to Bournemouth, and I'm basically raising awareness and donations for British Heart Foundation, just because of the support. And basically, it's Tom Lockyer, Heart Heroes. So it's basically recognising the heroes that helped save his life, but also the fantastic work that British Heart Foundation do, whilst also trying to raise awareness of the training that British Heart Foundation do on their website, that people can learn how to perform CPR, which helps saves people lives. So every 90 minutes, the duration of a football game, 5 people suffer out of hospital cardiac arrest, which, if you think, that's just staggering. So by learning the CPR, then you never know when that circumstance might arise again. So yeah, it's just something I've done, and I'm trying to raise that awareness. So yeah, so 124 miles. It's going to hurt. It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be worth it, because just trying to raise awareness and get there for the game, and just support Tom, support the British Heart Foundation. That's what Wednesday's going to be all about for me.
Definitely. And as somebody who has been closely affected, not myself, but my dad,
Mm.
from heart, effectively, he's got heart failure. It is imperative that people are aware of CPR.
Mm.
There's going to be lots and lots and lots going on outside the ground as well. I believe there's even going to be tests where you can actually get tested,
Yeah,
which is something, in fact, that I've done before. Of course, after what happened to my dad, 5 years ago, as it was now, um, you know, I had to go for some checks after that, and luckily, it looked at that time that everything is fine. But it doesn't hurt to check again if you've had a check, and it doesn't hurt if you've never ever thought of it. Does it really, Mark?
yeah, it's like, I mean, I think, yeah, you're right. I think there's going to be people there where you can get checked, and I think when something like what happened to Tom, you sort of puts everything into perspective, but also realizes that how fragile and how fragile how it can be, that we're here once, and just to just get checked and just basically try and just just basically just make sure that we're all okay, and that if this helps one person, then it's been worth it. And but yeah, definitely. I mean, just to know what to do to perform CPR. The 15-minute training on the British Heart Foundation website is just brilliant. It's easy to follow. You get a certificate, and yeah, so I recommend it.
Definitely, definitely. And Mark, the link is in the description below as well. So Cherries fans, Luton fans, please, 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 please donate to Mark's charity, which of course is the British Heart Foundation in this case, because of what happened on that 59th minute. And there will be a minute's applause as well on the 59th minute, for Tom. I didn't know, not sure if you was aware of that, Mark, but
Yeah,
there is going to be a minute's applause, for Tom Lockyer as well. So hopefully he's at the game. I'm sure he will be. But yeah, he will get a very, very warm welcome from Cherries fans without a shadow of a doubt.
and while we're on that subject, uh, yeah, and just going back to the game, uh, just been just just to reach out to all Cherries fans and everyone connected to Bournemouth. We honestly can't thank you enough for the compassion and that you've all shown to our football club, to Tom, to his family, and to everyone. It's just been absolutely, yeah. I just can't really find the words to thank you all. Just yeah, it's just really emotional, but yeah, I just want to use this platform to thank you all, because it really does mean a lot. And I think there's a bond that's been grown through the two football clubs and the two sets of fans, and everyone comes together when something like this happens. Football fans can be quite tribal in their rivalry, but it's when something like this happens, it's, yeah, it just makes you realise what's important. And I'll never forget the reception that all the Bournemouth fans gave to our team, and just to Tom and to everything. I'll never forget the day for the rest of my life. But and even after that, what everyone's done in terms of supporting the club, the fans that are coming down, it's just been absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to reach out and personally thank everyone connected with Bournemouth for everything they've done, really.
Both of the clubs are very much united, aren't they? Let's be honest. We've had such a history that has echoed each other, and this is one part of history again that we never wanted to ever see, because
Yeah,
we never wanted what happened that day to happen. But it has grown both the clubs stronger and united together. which you don't really see in football nowadays.
No, no,
Uh,
definitely not. And I've sort of seen it with my fundraising. I've literally been to every ground, and you can sort of see the community clubs where they just reach out, and they're just so kind, and they're just so nice people. And yeah, we all love football, and we're all passionate about our own teams. But some, like, when this happens, there's something bigger than football. Yeah, it's just incredible. So yeah, just want to thank everyone, really.
and I didn't. It was only later on because, of course, you can see, the reactions of the players as well. You know, the wall that was created round Tom whilst he was getting that care. Um, the Rob Edwards. I'll never forget. His face. When he was applauding everybody at the end. Um, it was. I'm choking up thinking about it, to be honest,
Mm,
Mark, because it was just horrific. It was a horrific thing to witness. But thankfully, everything looks like it's heading in the right direction for Tom. And
yeah,
some people said, "Will he play again?" and things like that. At the end of the day, that's all questions for another day. In my mind. Um, and all we need to do is make sure that Tom is there for his family and his friends, and I'm sure football players come and go from teams, but he'll forever have that bond with Luton Town,
yeah,
regardless of
definitely.
wherever he goes in the future. So yeah, um, it was a very, very emotional day. What I wanted to bring on to was, as well, after that day, there was, how difficult do you think it was because the next game after that was the game at home to Newcastle? Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah,
But you won that game. You won that game. And do you feel that the players were doing it for Tom, and had that extra drive, that extra fire in them, because you've put up such a fight in every game, absolutely
yeah,
every game. Even against the likes of Manchester City. Um, you know, I can't think. Well, apart from maybe Sheffield United, where you know you've been heavily beaten. You've been outstanding.
yeah. I mean, the Newcastle game was another really emotional day. It was let's win it for Tom.
Yeah,
Everyone was in the ground extra early, and everyone had just it just felt like, and I think in the week leading up to it, I think the players were obviously told that Tom was in a better place, and that they could just go into the game knowing that Tom was okay. And yeah, we just went out to win it for Tom. And yeah, and then Andros Townsend scored, held up Tom's shirt when we got the winner, and it definitely was the case of win it for Tom. And yeah, it was just another mem. And then during the game, we're all singing Tom's name out during the game, and yeah, it was definitely an emotional game. And yeah, the result was just perfect for the day.
and you know, going to the rest of this season, since that point, you have done very, very well. You beat Sheffield United away from home. I know the home game wasn't particularly too great against them. That
Yeah,
was one game that I was surprised by, to be honest. I was surprised by, but you really gave Manchester City a run for their money. Liverpool run for their money. I know it was a 4-1 defeat, but this side, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Mark, I think has got it in them to stay in the Premier League.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the just the we just don't know when they're beaten. I mean, we're 2-0 down to United after 5 minutes. We're 2-0 down to Villa, and we've seen what's happened to other teams in that position. That we just don't know when we're beaten. The spirit, the desire, the passion. There's no superstars. Everyone's in it, and that's the same throughout the club. Everyone is in this together. I mean, our injuries are just can't believe how many injuries. Then we have another two centre halves go off injured Saturday, and you just tell that they're giving absolutely everything for the cause. And whoever comes in, they do their job. And I honestly so proud of the effort and what they're doing and how we're competing. And you look at the teams that we're competing against. I mean, you could go through the games like the Arsenal and the Man City and Liverpool and all the big teams. Like, nobody gets an easy game with us, and literally we don't know when we're beaten, and we'll just keep going and we'll keep going. And we're in a pivotal part of the season. Next few games are like really important, but
Yeah.
I just think there's a unity, and there's a camaraderie with the team. I mean, every game, the away game, the players get a standing ovation from the fans. It's like because they can see the effort they're putting in and how much and a lot of our players have came up from the championship. And I know some of the other teams that are down there, they've sort of, I mean, we've probably spent 20 million, if that. And a lot of the
Yeah.
players, a lot of the players have come through the lower leagues, and come through non-league, like Pele and Jordan Clark have come through the lower leagues, and they've sort of their dream to play in the Premier League. And I can honestly say that there's not one player that looks out of depth. They all look like they all play like Premier League players. They've all proved that they deserve to play at this level. So, and they're not going to. No one's giving up the opportunity to be a Premier League player easily, and we're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep pushing, and see if it gets us enough points at the end of the day. And if there's any points deductions coming the way of other teams, then so be it. But and at the helm of that, Rob Edwards is just like absolutely incredible. Honestly, is the most decent human being you could ever wish to meet. His ethos is family first. Like, the players, it's like the players are players' family, and their health is priority, comes above football. And that comes across when he's interviewed. That I've met him on a number of occasions, and he's just the nicest guy. And as Tom said in an interview, he just makes you want to run through brick walls for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an incredible season. I could be more proud, and yeah, we'll see what the season brings.
Like you say, even from the outside, looking in at Luton, Rob Edwards, and this is without that day on the 16th of December. Rob Edwards is just a decent, nice, down to earth human being
Yeah,
who comes across really, really well in interviews. um, you know, you can tell that he's got every player on his side. He treats them well and looks after them. So long may he be in that job, because I tell you what, I think he is an outstanding manager, with a very, very exciting future. And he's
Definitely.
really Luton's Eddie, isn't he? I know that he might not have taken Luton through the leagues like Eddie Howe did with ourselves, but what he's doing, it just feels like, when Eddie was in the Premier League with ourselves, in that first season, just had the spirit, had that drive. And, going on to this game and how he's going to approach it, because I think, after all the emotions, because it is going to be emotional, we're going to have the 59th minute as well, the round
Yeah.
of applause at that point. I can fully expect that Rob Edwards will have that team so focused, so driven on getting the 3 points because, like you say, this is a pivotal time for you, Mark, because
Yeah.
the following game is against Nottingham Forest. Win this game, you will be above Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it's and honestly, the injuries. I think there's a table of how many injuries everyone's got, and where there's a table we didn't want to be on the top of because we've got 11 injuries. We've got young players that have come through the academy that are making their debut. Zach Nelson on Saturday, and we've got players playing out of position. Alfie Doherty has just been absolutely inspirational, and you can just tell he's on his feet. But then whoever comes in, they've got a job to do, and like on Saturday at Palace, it was just a real struggle. But Palace didn't take the chances. We stay in the game, and then we get a chance, and we take it. And that point could be the difference with us staying up. So they just absolutely never give up. The spirit, the desire is just. I might be biased, but it just can't be rivaled. It's like if teams want to beat us, then we're not going anywhere. We're not backing down. And one of my sayings on my challenges is I don't back down from a challenge, and that's definitely the team's mantra as well.
Definitely, definitely. One thing I did want to discuss as well is, of course, the two players with, proven Premier League experience, and that's Ross Barkley and Andros Townsend. They're no, they're no newcomers to the Premier League. How important have they been for the rest of
Oh,
the team?
absolutely massive. I don't mind admitting I was like raised eyebrows when we signed Ross Barkley. It's like Ross Barkley come to Luton, really? But honestly, with him and he's injured, I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow, but
Yeah,
Samuel Lakonga, those two in the middle, when you've got Chio Benny, who's just got pace to burn and a bit more, playing wide, and then got Carlton and Elijah. Elijah might not be fit, but just what Barkley does and what he gives us. You just watch him, and you watch someone that oozes class, and
yes,
he'll look like he's going down a cul-de-sac, and next minute he's done something, and all of a sudden he's just created something out of nothing. And but yeah, he's just like blended in. I think he was at a time of his career where didn't work out at Chelsea, and then he went to France, and then I think he just needed to play football.
yeah,
So we've been very lucky, but I also think we've been good for him. He's been given the platform, and he's sort of playing in that slightly deeper role where he can control the game more. He can influence the game a lot more, and yeah, he's literally since probably October where he's got the game time under his belt, and he just pulls the strings. When he's up against like your Arsenals, like when you got Declan Rice and you've got De Bruyne and people like that, he's like running the show against,
yeah,
and it's not like to be mentioned as an England caller. It's justified in terms of the conversations. We know Southgate's got his favourites, but
yeah.
I might be biased, but I've not seen too many better midfield players this season than Ross Barkley. So And then I'd love to have been in the room with that conversation that we got to, that we got it over the line. And because we do a lot of our transfer business, we've got a brilliant recruitment team, but also we do it quietly. We don't go shouting about it. And so, yeah, I'd love to have been hear that conversation when we persuaded Barkley to come and join us.
Am I right in thinking, and I saw this statistic, I don't know how true this source is, but Luton, in their entire history, have spent just over £13 million.
Really? I haven't heard that stat before, but I think I think in the summer it was like, right, we broke our transfer record. It was like two
Mhm.
or three times, and I think when we played Man City, and I think theirs was like, oh, was it Chelsea like 900 million, and like we're like 15 million, and
Yeah.
uh, but even Chelsea 3-0 down, and we should have got a draw. I mean, to go 3-0 down, it's just what I said. We just the team spirit. It's like no, they never give up, and whatever the circumstance, they will always believe they can get something from the game.
Was you a little bit disappointed when Everton got some points back? Because the the thing is if they hadn't have got those points back, I believe that you would be on the same number of points as them at the moment.
I wasn't. I always said that we'll get some
Mm,
points back just because the meltdown about
yeah.
the injustice of it all, and I just think you've got short memories. It's like,
Mhm.
sorry, did you actually break the rules? Yes, you did, and you'd,
Yeah.
and yeah. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I thought they'd get some back, but the bottom line is, and then there's some more coming apparently, but has six
Mhm.
points is the reset now been that 6 points is the benchmark moving forward. So are they going to get another six? But apparently Everton have got a strong case ready for when they get some more. So, but at the end of the day, like we both, our clubs are run properly, and then
Yes.
if teams break the rules, like why shouldn't they get punished? But honestly, the meltdown, the meltdown from Everton, and the biggest injustice in football. Right? Don't you remember our 30 point?
Yeah, I was going to say, 2008, he was on -30, we was on -17, and Rotherham, bless them, they were on 17 as well. So yeah, the three of us really did have, you know, a lot to contend with. Yourselves, of course, unfortunately, it was just too big a gap to overcome. But
Yeah,
I guess now looking back, I know it was horrible at that time. That journey, it just makes now just so much better, doesn't it?
yeah. I mean, Gary Sweet, our CEO, always says that when he hears people say that, "Oh, we'll copy what Luton did to get to the Premier League," it's like you can't copy what we've done because you haven't been through what we went through, which is so
Yeah.
true. So true. And yeah, I mean, I did the Dartfords and the all those Solihull and all those grounds, and we definitely wouldn't have chosen to stay in the conference for 5 years. But it's part of our history, and whenever we sign new players, the players that are signing, they know about our history. They know what about the club. It's not just about right, you're going to be playing and about the playing side. Spoken to a few players, they say you're told when you join the club about the history, and they know about the club as much as anything else, and that's part of our history. So yeah, it wouldn't have chosen it, but it's just part of the story that yeah, it's like there's flags up at ground saying the greatest story in football, and might be biased, but I think it is.
Yeah. Well, we got the Great Escape, and although it was an amazing escape, um, to be honest, I think if we had gone down, I don't know how we would have survived. But you know, the fact that you did go down and then you find yourself here is just another amazing story, and it's something again we both share.
Yeah,
Something that's
definitely.
something positive that we share. The
Yeah,
journey, the minus points, and of course that horrible day last year
yeah.
in December. Another thing that we do share that we wish didn't happen. But um, let's look at the positive side of if you were to stay in the Premier League this season, because I think honestly it can really happen. Everton and Forest, like you say, are going to probably get points deductions. Neither of them are going to like it. Both of them are going to stomp their feet. But I think the Premier League know that they need to be sure about it. And I think it'll probably happen at some point this month as well. Because if it happens any later, then they have probably got a bit more of a case. But if you do stay in the Premier League this year, firstly, what's the party going to be like in Luton? And secondly, what do you do going into that second season and avoiding this? And I've never understood this, but a lot of people talk about it, this second season syndrome.
Well, and you get a lot of money getting into the Premier League,
Yeah.
and I don't know how it works out, but you get a loads more money than just like that second season. So, I mean, we were never going to do a Forest and blow it all and sign 20
Mhm.
players because that's not what we're about, and it's not how the football club is run. Uh, but as the team evolves as the money comes in and you become a more of a stable club. So I think the second year is absolutely massive. I mean, you look how hard the championship is this year, and
Yeah.
the three clubs that went down with their parachute payments potentially could all come back up, and it's
Mhm.
just so hard. And I just think if we manage to stay up, the party will go on for months probably, and the party will go on for months, and then I'll need a holiday to recover, but it's going to be worth it just to be able to stay, and also like just how the club will evolve with that second season, and just being able to maybe stretch the budget a bit, and obviously with the new ground being built, then maybe that will fast track that. But yeah, it's just all positive. But whatever happens, just couldn't be more proud of what we've done. If you asked me before the season, I'd have said, I just want to be competitive. I just want to be able to compete with everyone. And we've done that every game. Uh, so it's just getting the points now. I don't think the points reflect the performances, but that's how clinical and tough the Premier League is. You get punished for every minute mistake, and it just feels like every mistake has just been we've been punished for it, and that's the nature of playing quality players, by world class players in the Premier League, that you're gonna get punished. But yeah, I just think if we can stay up, then it'll be incredible, but it'll just be able to develop the club and move on, and stabilize ourselves in the Premier League, hopefully.
And of course, let's look at the other alternative. If unfortunately, in touch wood, this doesn't happen because I really do want you to stay up. There's not been a side where you say I really, really, really want, but Luton is one that I really want to stay up. Um, but if it does happen that you do go down, you've got the parachute payments. You've
Mm.
got the new stadium. Has it started as yet, or is it still in the planning consultation phase?
I've seen diggers.
Diggers. Excellent.
I
But
won't say, I won't
what I
say any more
understand,
than that.
what I understand is that the Premier League money will pay for the new stadium, which I think is a really, really good idea. But of course, there will be ambitions at that point to come back at the first time of asking.
Mm.
Um, and if you do go down, touch wood, it won't happen. But I'm sure you'd like to go up as champions, and it's very possible. Um, but do you think that the philosophy that the club have got of putting the money into the new stadium and spending the majority of the Premier League money on the new stadium is the right path?
Well, don't forget we had to spend. I don't know what the numbers were, but
Mhm.
we had to spend quite a lot of money getting our current ground up to Premier League standards.
Yeah.
Uh, so, like I said, in excess of 10 million, whatever that might have been. But so we and I think the club said we're the only club that's building two grounds at the same time. So we've had those costs, and obviously there's the new ground and everything else. And I think the plans have sort of slightly been changed in terms of what the capacity looks like. And like I said, we could have built a ground out of town a lot cheaper years ago, but we're building it on a power station site, and with that comes its own challenges because Luton is an integral. The football club's an integral
Yeah.
part of the community, and that's why they want it in the town, because they want the club to play such a big part in the community and not build it 5 miles out of town and be disconnected from the community. So, and that's why it's taking longer, it's costing more money, but it will come. And when it does come, it's not just the football club, it's all the area around it, like the restaurants, the pubs. It will be an integral part of the town, basically. So I've sort of sidetracked from your question, but I think we will. I mean, that's why when we sign people like Chio or Benny, it's like Garth Crooks' famous comment: you're not taking it seriously. You've only spent £20 million." It's like we take players out of the championship, like Chio Benny. Alfie Doherty came from the championship, and they're like recognised Premier League players. The recruitment is just second to none. It's incredible, and they will have a plan whatever happens this season, and the players that we get will be an integral part of us getting back if we don't stay. But yeah, no, I'm totally back what the decisions they make, the recruitment, everything. Gary Sweet and the board and everyone. The good thing is, like they've got the best interest of the club at heart. So every decision they make is for the right reasons. There's no ulterior motive that owners of some clubs have. So we know that every decision they make is in the interest of the football club and the community.
Well, I think it's time to do our predictions for this game. Of course,
Oh,
we did it back in December. I'll do it for every single game, but I'm going to do something a little bit different now. And I'm going to, I'll go first on the first bit, which is whether Luton will stay in the Premier League. And I'm not just saying this because you're here, Mark. I've
right.
said this all along. I think you will. I think you will survive. Um, who's going down has changed. I did say a couple of weeks ago that Crystal Palace were going to go down. And then I watched Everton the other day and I thought, they're not very good. Calvert Lewin can't hit a barn door with a beach ball. I'm actually thinking Everton will go down with Burnley and Sheffield United. And that is, and I'll say this now, without a points deduction, without any more points deductions. That's what I think will happen. Probably be even more comfortable with the points deductions. But Mark, do you think you will stay up? And if so, who's going?
Yes, I believe we will stay
Yes.
up.
Yes.
I've I've already mapped out the fixtures, where we're going to get the points. I mean, I think our something like our last 5 games are West Ham, Fulham. We've got Wolves. We've got Everton. So
Yep.
so we've got a good run in, but we just need to get points on the board. I think Burnley, Sheffield United are gone.
Yep.
Uh, I did love Chris Wilder's analogy the other day that yeah,
I did laugh at that, to be honest.
yeah, it's like, well, it's like the perception is that we're the worst club in the world and Luton are going for Europe.
You never know. In a couple of years' time.
I know, but no, we are going to stay up, and Burnley, Sheffield United have gone. I also think like Everton, like they've been on the verge for like the last 2 or 3 years. You know about you go to the well's dry, and then you get away with it for so many years. And I actually think I agree with you. I think Everton this time it's one season too far, and it's going to be some ground in the Championship.
It is, isn't it? Well, their last season at Goodison Park will be in the Championship, which, I guess is sad for them. But let's be honest, it's been a Premier League ground for so long. So, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Everton fans, you're off. See you later. But I tell you what, let's predict, this game as well, and I'll let you go first, Mark, with this. Um,
I,
so,
I, I've almost gone to reverse psychology because every time I predict we win, we don't, and vice versa. So I went with 2-1 at Palace, and
hmm,
I didn't get that one right. Uh, oh, I've got to go for a win because it's going to be for locks. And even though we don't have a defence, I don't know how many fit defenders we've got. So I think it's going to be an entertaining game. But I was actually quite shocked where someone said you hadn't won a home game so far this calendar year.
yeah.
I was quite surprised at that. And but you're safe, so you've got no potentially. You could be on the beach, couldn't you?
Well, not just yet, not just yet, but
So I'm gonna go for 2-1 win.
right. Well, I have got a thought in my head, and I did turn around and I said about the Burnley game, it was going to be tough. It was tough. We got the win. I said that we'd get the win. I did get it wrong against Sheffield United, but I saw that there was going to be a reaction, and there was a reaction. This was always the game that worried me of the three, and I'm going to go with my head. Um, and I honestly think there is going to be so much drive in the Luton team for Tom Lockyer. Our form isn't very good at the moment. I've got to be honest. I think some players are performing a little bit under where they should be. I don't agree with some of the comments that have been made by some of our fans online, but and this is the first time I think I've done this. No, actually, I did it against Man City. I can be let off that one. I actually think you're right. I think Luton will win 2-1.
Wow.
And that's my head talking. My heart, of course, is going to turn around and say, "Oh yeah, Bournemouth win all day." But I honestly do think I've seen enough of Luton this season to make me realise that this is not going to be easy in any stretch of the imagination. Um, you don't know when you're beaten. It's going to be entertaining, and that's why I'm going to completely. I'm going to be a bit of a copycat and say 2-1 as well. But I think I think your team will do it for locks, and I think come the end of play on Wednesday, you'll be outside of the relegation zone, which I believe you will be because you've scored. Yes, you would have scored more goals than Nottingham Forest. So, which will be quite nice going into the last 10 games outside of the relegation zone, especially when you got Forest. You've just got
It
to make
makes,
sure you beat them, really, haven't you?
yeah, it makes such a difference when you're above that dotted line. But yeah, we haven't kept a clean sheet away from home this season, so yeah, I think we'll concede, but I think we'll win.
Yeah, I'm echoing that this time, and I'm speaking with my head. I'm not going to give you what my heart says, but this is going to be an emotional game.
Yeah,
Um, it is going to be emotional because of what happened in that game back on the 16th of December. I want to wish from everybody at AFC Bournemouth, and to be honest, I can probably say for the whole football community as well, wish Tom Lockyer the very, very best in his road to recovery. You know, hopefully one day we'll see him on the football pitch, but of course that's a conversation for
yeah,
another day.
yeah, definitely.
But our thoughts are with Tom and everybody at Luton, and hopefully he continues on that road to recovery, and hopefully he's enjoying a bit of family time as well with his newborn,
Definitely.
and which I guess, even though it was a horrible day those 3 months ago, you know, there is that happy ending that he's got a newborn with him at the moment, and I'm sure he's a very, very happy man.
Apparently, jigsaws are his thing now.
Do you know what? Jigsaw's Lego, braver man than me, Tom, if you're watching this, because I tell you what, Lego, I've tried putting Lego together and I always lose a piece and I can't complete it at the end.
I
So,
think I think this is getting very off track, but I think someone bought him like this massive Harry Potter Lego thing to build.
oh, brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
like our Mr. Captain Courageous that basically like is like the absolute wall of our defence. Harry Potter Lego.
I love it. Honestly, Mark, if you ever do see a picture of that, you've got to send that in to me because that is going to definitely go up on a show. That is
I
the
think I've actually
completed
got
Lego from Tom.
I think I've actually got a picture, so
He's completed it already.
not completed, but not completed, but yeah, that was his thing, just like his recovery. So,
Ah, fair
but
play.
yeah, it sort of dispels the myth of a Premier League defender, doesn't it? But all joking
Yeah.
aside, I'm just happy that he's home with his family, he's recovering. He seems in a good place at the moment. So yeah, and all we can wish is good health and whatever happens in the future, then. But yeah, he's just an absolute legend. And like I said, he epitomises everything about our football club, the passion, the desire, and couldn't wish to meet a nicer bloke. So yeah, hopefully, yeah. So hopefully he'll be there on Wednesday, and 'cause I think I'm sure he'd want to thank everyone, but it's just going to be the most emotional day. So finally, as you know, I'm cycling, so my route is taking me through Christchurch and Boscombe. Anyone wants to join me for the last couple of miles, any Bournemouth fans, then message me, and it'd be an absolute pleasure to meet up with some of you if you wanted to.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, do remember the fundraiser is in the description. So please, please, please do give really, really generously. And Mark, I wish you the very, very best of luck on this step of the journey. Of course, you probably only thought, well, I'll do 19 plus the FA Cup, but of course, this is for such a good cause,
Yeah,
and I'm sure Tom is incredibly proud of what yourself and everybody at Luton is doing for him.
Hope so, but yeah, I know he will be. He's we're definitely a community club, and we all come together, and yeah, we're just looking forward to coming down Wednesday and just thanking you all for everything that you've done to support us and support Tom, and yeah, it's just going to be emotional, but hopefully we'll get to meet up on the night, and
Yes.
I think I need a cider when I get there, so.
Yeah. I'll get the round in.
Excellent.
Well, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, thank you so much for coming on. All the very, very best for Wednesday
Thank
and, of
you.
course, the rest of the season. And, of course, we've got our reverse game in literally, I think, 4 weeks' time, haven't we?
Are you coming to that game?
I should be, yes. I should be,
Excellent.
yes. So, I'm looking forward to going back through the garden. Do you know what? That is the one of the honestly, I absolutely love it. That is what football grounds is all about.
I think I should say anyone that mentions a garden should donate £1, and then like.
Definitely, definitely. I'm sure there's loads and loads. So just scroll through Twitter or X. I'm sure you'll find absolutely tons of them.
Oh,
But
but
yeah,
no, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you, and yeah, it's just been really enjoyable. So thank you for your time.
not a problem at all, Mark. And thank you again so much for coming back on.
Great stuff. See you Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday, mate. And thank you everybody for joining us on this show. Do remember, hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell button below to be alerted to any of our new videos. We do ask you, normally I'll talk about old videos. Again, not going to do that for this video. Please click that button below in the description and donate to the British Heart Foundation. And we wish Tom Lockyer a full recovery.